This is Martin Giles of the Guildford Dragon News, and I'm with Mary Branson, who's a local artist in Guildford. Mary, what is your connection with Guildford and the local area?
So I was born and brought up in Guildford, so I was born in the Jarvis Centre in Belfields, and then my parents had a house in Burpham.
And you went to school locally?
Yeah, I went to St Peter's in Merrow Grange.
How did you become an artist?
The first part of my life, I was a long-haul air stewardess, and then I had my son, and when I was 25, and so I was a single mum, and I couldn't keep on flying on long haul and bring up my son. Things weren't working out, and I decided that I had to sort of start all over again. And at that time I was doing life drawing at the Adult Ed in Guildford, and that was the only place that all those sorts of conversations about not being good enough or how much I'd messed up stopped, and I was just concentrating on drawing, and I decided that I should just start all over again and do something that made me happy.
And how quickly were you able to make a living from it?
Well, I did. I studied at the Adult Ed for a year, then I went through higher education, so I did a foundation, a degree, and then a master's. And then as I came out on my master's, I started making large-scale installations and doing workshops, community workshops, and I was able to start making a living. Once I did those workshops, I was always a cleaning lady on the side.
Right, interesting.
Yeah.
So what now do you regard as your most important projects, or the ones that you like most?
Well, I suppose the piece in the Houses of Parliament is my most important piece of work.
Which we'll talk about in a minute, yes.
But I made a piece called A Conversation with My Mother, which is about frozen grief. My mother had Alzheimer's for 20 years, and
So where is that?
so it's temporary. So a lot of my installations are temporary artworks. So I made a 17-foot rowing skiff, and then I gilded that with copper leaf on the inside and created a sound piece, and worked with 80 women locally that helped me make 1,000 magnolia petals. So the culmination of all of that was an installation that I showed first in the Swiss Church in Covent Garden, and then in Albury Church, the old Saxon church in Albury,
Yes.
where I show a lot of my work. And I have it in a workshop, and it goes out, so it will be going to Salisbury Cathedral, and then it's going, I think, up to Newcastle Cathedral later on.
Now you mentioned the installation in Westminster Hall,
Yeah.
one of the oldest buildings in London. And what is the work about?
The artwork is about women's suffrage, and it celebrates women's equality and the history around that within Westminster. So I had researched directly about within the archives, and it was looking at all the organisations that helped us get the vote, and creating a visual language that enabled the artwork to sit within Westminster Hall.
So how can people see that if they want to?
Well, it's a public part of the building, so you can go in at any time. And the best thing to do is just check on their website and then take your passport or some kind of photo ID.
Okay. We're lucky enough to be here in your studio. How long has it been set up like this, and what can you do within this studio?
So when I make my large scale installations, I go out and I work in large workshops and where I go into production, but in here it's my thinking space. I've just had this space for just over a year, and I just do a lot of making and thinking on a small scale. and I do a lot of pottery. I learn a lot from pottery, and I've always worked with ceramics for the last sort of 20 years. Yeah, because my husband also, he throws. I hand build, my husband throws.
Okay.
I make a lot of wobbly stuff. I make wobbly stuff, and he's quite precision.
Great. Well, Mary Branson, local artist, thank you very much.
Yeah, pleasure.